Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is the informational webinar for the 2021 STEM Talent Challenge, which is powered by the U.S. Economic Development Administration. This is the second year that we have run this challenge, and you will see that the program is similar, but not quite identical to last year's program. This webinar is designed to provide a high-level overview. For more complete information, please see the posted Notice of Funding Opportunity, or NOFO. This NOFO can be found at eda.gov/OIE/STEM. Today, I will be covering a variety of topics to provide more information about the STEM Talent Challenge and how to apply. We will begin with a quick welcome, and then I will tell you about the mission of our office, the Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, or OIE. I will talk about the origins and design of the STEM Talent Challenge and talk a little bit about last year's challenge and how it informed this year's. I'll review the basics of what we are looking for from a program implementation standpoint. Then I'll go over the desired outputs and outcomes, which I hope will help you focus your project. We will talk about what should go into your application from a technical standpoint, and then we will conclude by reviewing some frequently asked questions that we hope will help you in the application process. I'd like to take a moment to again welcome everyone to this webinar and to introduce myself. It's just me here today, hence the fact that I put team in quotes. I am Carmen Myers-Reed, and I am the program manager for the STEM Talent Challenge. I will be overseeing this challenge and will be your primary point of contact for all things related to it. I have been working with EDA for a little over a year now, and prior to that, I served as a program and compliance manager for a nonprofit that focused on workforce development and helping job seekers get back to work. At EDA, I oversee this program as well as providing hands-on experience related to our workforce development investment priority. I started overseeing last year's inaugural STEM Talent Challenge on my third week at work, so it's kind of been my baby ever since. I can't wait to see the kinds of creative applications that we receive this year. The STEM Talent Challenge is administered out of the Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, or OIE. Through our grant programs, federal collaboration, and the National Advisory Council on Innovation and Entrepreneurship, or NACI, OIE aims to empower communities so that entrepreneurs can launch companies, scale technologies, and create the jobs of tomorrow. We were established by the America Competes Act of 2010 and are housed within the U.S. Economic Development Administration, which is a bureau of the Department of Commerce. To understand the STEM Talent Challenge, you have to first understand its origins. With our work in OIE running the Build to Scale program for the last 8 years, we have been supporting two sides of this triangle, capital and entrepreneurship, injecting more capital into communities and entrepreneurial ecosystems through our Capital Challenge, and helping the businesses that support entrepreneurs, incubators, universities, accelerators, etc., through our Venture Challenge. Time and time again, through our work with our grantees, as well as NACI, we have heard about the need for qualified talent, particularly in STEM fields. This challenge was born in response to this need. We are looking for projects that not only build STEM talent, but that build this talent in a way that is responsive to the talent needs of businesses, allowing them to grow. This is the mission of the STEM Talent Challenge, building STEM talent training systems to strengthen regional innovation economies. Just to really hit home, we are looking for applications that are creating and implementing STEM talent development systems that complement their region's innovation economy. We're looking for applicants where the talent development strategies, STEM talent, and regional innovation economy all work together. Strong proposals will demonstrate that the talent created and the means of developing that talent will meet the needs of regional employers looking to fill quality jobs. So this challenge was authorized by Section 28 of the Stevenson-Weidler Technology Act. The main objectives of this authorization are to first assess and identify, that is, to create a needs assessment and identify the needs for skilled STEM workers by regional employers. This we are asking applicants to complete before they apply, but as we will state on a later slide, this can come in a variety of formats. We're also authorized to implement programs designed to build STEM talent. This is really the central point of this program, implementing innovative programs that train learners in in-demand STEM skills, get them back to work, and help businesses grow. Finally, we are authorized to develop infrastructure to expand STEM work and learn models, creating systems that can grow and replicate, sustaining past the point of the federal award. As I said, last year was the first year that this challenge was offered. Though it has changed a little bit since last year, it is still helpful to look at the inaugural iteration of this challenge and the programs that were awarded. We ran a slightly shorter challenge last year. The application window was 48 days long, and we still received 76 applications. These applications came from 38 states and represented all of EDA's regions. We reviewed applications for completeness and then scored them using last year's merit review criteria. After this process, we selected 7 applications for funding, obligating the full $2 million to programs in 7 states. So it goes without saying, the inaugural cohort for this challenge was extremely competitive. We had many more highly scoring applications than we could award. The awards we did make were to organizations whose projects were designed to drive regional innovation through the development of STEM-capable talent. The 7 awards made represented a variety of industries and regions. The Aleut community of St. Paul Island tribal governments project involves designing and implementing training for community members to prepare them for jobs in the emerging aeronautics industry in the remote Alaskan St. Paul Island. The project builds on a partnership with a manufacturer of automated commercial aircraft to create internship and mentorship opportunities for residents. By training locals to fill existing jobs, the project is building the production and innovation capacity of the region. This twofold impact is an example of what we hope to achieve with this program, creating employment opportunity for job seekers and allowing industries to expand with the help of the new talent. Maui Economic Development Board is using the funding to scale up the successful STEM work program, which provides hands-on training for Hawaii residents in 7 different focus areas. These focus areas were aligned with their regional comprehensive economic development strategy and are considered vital to Hawaii's growth. These high-wage, high-growth sectors include agriculture, biosciences, and renewable energy. The program involves an innovative training method which combines challenge-based learning where student participants compete to develop solutions to the problems faced by industry employer partners, and work-based learning with an internship for challenge winners. The University of Michigan is utilizing their award funds to implement their Advanced Manufacturing Cybersecurity Work and Learn program, which is designed to not only train workers, but help fulfill the needs in manufacturing companies for cybersecurity knowledge. The program's cybersecurity curriculum is rooted in a manufacturing setting to provide the kind of contextual understanding that is needed by many regional industry leaders. Okay, now that we've talked about last year's challenge and the origins of the challenge this year, let's talk about the logistics of the STEM Talent Challenge. We'll start by going over what type of entity is eligible for this challenge and how much funding is available. For those who are familiar with our Build to Scale program or last year's challenge, you may notice that the eligibility is very similar. You can apply if you are a state, an Indian tribe, a city, or other political subdivision of a state, such as a county. You can also apply if you are a nonprofit organization, an institution of higher education, a public-private partnership, a science or research park, a federal laboratory, or an economic development organization. If you apply as one of these entities, you must also show support by your state or political subdivision of your state. You may also apply if you are a consortium of any of the previously mentioned entities. Please note that individuals were not listed as eligible entities and are not eligible to receive this funding. Now it is time to talk about the specifics of funding for this challenge. In total, as with last year's challenge, $2 million has been appropriated for this program. Applicants may request up to $250,000 for the total project period of 24 months. This has changed since last year to allow us to fund more projects while also eliminating the option for planning funding. Instead, the full program budget must be spent on program implementation. Prior to application, a needs assessment should be conducted to determine the needs of regional employers and ensure that proposed program activities align with these needs. This pre-application needs assessment is designed to help make sure that projects align with the talent needs of regional employers and that training would have a high likelihood in resulting in good paying jobs. We were not prescriptive on the format of the needs assessment, and it can be formal or informal. An example of a formal assessment may be a Regional Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, SEDS, or equivalent document. An informal assessment may be a survey conducted to area employers to determine their talent and skills needs. Regardless of the means of collection, these assessments should show that regional businesses have an immediate need for skilled workers, and this should inform the development of relevant skills training. Projects should be responsive. That is, again, the development of training should be tied to the immediate talent needs of regional employers. Next, we will talk about the desired outputs and outcomes for this funding. These areas of focus should provide you with guidance as to what we hope to see as results for projects funded in this challenge. Proposed projects may aim for some or even all of the following outputs. Strong proposals will identify both the short and long-term goals of the proposed projects. These goals will ideally align with the goals listed in the NOFO and on the next 3 slides. While we do not want to be prescriptive, we hope that this information will provide some guidance on the type of projects that we would like to see. We are hoping to see projects that develop talent through STEM work-based learning and training. As I have said, when I talked about the needs assessment, training should clearly align with the talent needs of those driving innovation in the region and should result in job placement for the participants in high-wage employment and high-growth industries. The goal of these projects should be to provide workers with the experiences that they need to succeed on the job. Projects should utilize training models that incorporate work-based learning to provide this hands-on experience. These models may include innovative, industry-driven apprenticeships, fellowships, internships, and other cooperative employer-educator partnerships, but are not limited to existing industry definitions. As I'll say a couple more times in this presentation, experimentation and innovation are strongly encouraged. We would also like to see projects that increase the innovation capacity of the project's region. On this end, projects should focus on connecting regional innovation stakeholders and employers with the workforce and talent development leaders and training providers. Projects should truly be driven by the talent needs of those employers at the forefront of innovation. As we discussed on an earlier slide, we see talent development as a key factor to driving innovation. Without qualified talent, innovation is stalled. We are looking to fund organizations who are driving regional innovation through worker training. Successful projects may also focus on increasing diversity, equity, and inclusion in STEM. We are looking for projects that focus on providing equitable access to the innovation economy for all members of the community. We would like to see relationships, either new or existing, that will connect those who are traditionally underserved or underrepresented with those driving innovation in the region. Projects should also aim to promote racial equity and should have strategies to provide those from historically underserved and underrepresented communities with access to training and other tools to success. Now it's time to go over the timeline for the application and selection process, and then we will talk about the logistics of how to apply. Before we talk about the application itself, I wanted to go over the important dates. As you may know, the NOFO was released on August 12th. The application window will be open for 61 days, and applications are due on October 12th. This means that a full and complete application must be submitted by 11:59 p.m. on October 12th, 2021. In fairness to all applicants, we cannot accept late applications or late additions to applications. After this period, applications will be reviewed and awardees selected. Applications will go through full technical, merit, and legal review before award. For this reason, it takes us a while to announce award, so we don't anticipate selecting or announcing awards until winter 2021. According to the NOFO, we have 90 to 120 days from the due date of the applications before award. Applications are submitted electronically through grants.gov. There are instructions in the NOFO for how to do this, but you will search for the funding opportunity number listed on this slide and then select Apply. If you have any systems issues when you submit your application, you will need to contact grants.gov support, not EDA. It's not that we don't want to help, we just can't. So contact grants.gov help desk. Before you can apply for funding through grants.gov, you will need to complete a series of actions. These actions can take quite a bit of time, so we recommend that you do not delay in getting started if this is your organization's first time applying through grants.gov. First, you will need to obtain a DUNS number if your organization doesn't already have one. This can take a couple of business days and is required for grants.gov registration. Next, you will need an EIN number if you do not have one of those. This can take up to 10 business days, and it too is required for grants.gov registration. Finally, you will also need to register for SAM.gov, which can take 7 to 10 business days. SAM registration is also required before you can register on grants.gov. Once you have obtained an EIN, DUNS number, and registered for SAM, you are ready to create a grants.gov account. Once you've created an account, you will need to authorize your authorized representative, or AOR, for your organization, and then you can track the status of that authorization on grants.gov. Applications will be evaluated and scored by multiple reviewers using standardized review criteria, which we will talk about in a few minutes. A 10-page project narrative and 4-page budget narrative are required. Additionally, the full application includes a series of standard required forms and additional supporting documents, such as letters of support and commitment. Though we will talk a bit about these items in detail, please see the Notice of Funding Opportunity for more information. This can be found on our website at eda.gov/OIE/STEM. We have also placed an optional template for the budget narrative on this site. There is also an optional application checklist on our site. It can help you ensure that you have included all forms that are required for your organization. The documents that you will be submitting on grants.gov fall into 2 categories: project design and substance, and forms and supporting documentation. The project narrative, budget narrative, and staffing plan and matching share commitment letters and state local government support documentation should all show your project design and substance, documenting the nature of your project, what the budget looks like, the team that will be executing it, and the partnerships that support it. These documents together should tell a cohesive story about your project and your ability to execute it. The forms and supporting documentation will include a series of standard forms which every organization will submit, as well as some additional documentation that is dependent upon your project location and organization type. The SF424 is the application for federal assistance, and you will include all the basic information about you and your project. If you are applying with a co-applicant, you will both need to fill out an SF424. The SF424A is the budget information form for non-construction programs. We have videos about both of these forms on our website under applicant resources. These are also linked if you download the slides. The CD511 is the certification regarding lobbying, where you will attest to any lobbying activities you participated in that were related to the project, if any. If you participated in lobbying activities, you will also need to fill out the SFLLL. Depending on what state you live in, you may also need to show that you submitted your project to your state single point of contact. I have linked the SPOC list to the slide so you can see if this is a requirement for your state. Certain organizations, including nonprofits, need to provide organizational documentation, such as a certificate of good standing from your state, articles of incorporation, bylaws, etc. Finally, if you utilize indirect costs that are greater than the de minimis in your budget, you will need to submit your indirect cost rate documentation. This is all outlined in greater detail in the NOFO and on the links on this page. The format of the project narrative has changed a bit from last year, so please see the NOFO for more details. The first section should describe the project design and include the scope of work. An executive summary should be included in the first section, which includes the basic project details and a project summary of no more than 250 words. You will also include a scope of work of no more than a page, which includes key milestones and deliverables. Next, you will describe the regional innovation resources and talent needs. This will include a description of the project's location and region, including FIPS codes for the service area. You can find the FIPS codes for your region on the census website, which is linked in the NOFO. This section will also include a description of the industry or industries driving innovation of the region and show a documented need for talent by these industries. This is where you will include a description of your needs assessment and its findings. In section 3, you will talk about your proposed solution, where you will, in detail, describe the solution to the need outlined in the previous section. Section 4 should show your partners and program outreach, where you describe your current, former, or future partnerships that will be working on this project, including the roles of each partner. You will also outline an outreach plan to engage new and diverse stakeholders, explaining how the project will promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in STEM. Next, you will explain the project's measurable goals and impacts, where you will outline evidence and database anticipated goals, including outputs and outcomes. These should be in the SMART framework. Finally, you will outline your sustainability plan. That is, your plan for the sustainability of this project following the federal award. You should include challenges, barriers, a forecast of post-award operations, etc., and a specific plan for how the project will be sustained. Once we have ensured that applications are complete and applicants are eligible entities, we conduct a formal merit review of the application. During this review, each application is reviewed by at least 3 reviewers and scored on 6 criteria. Each criteria has 2 questions, and reviewers score each question using a 7-point Likert scale. These 6 criteria can be found in section E1 of the NOFO and are outlined on this slide and the next one. The first of the review criteria is strength of regional partnerships and assets. For this, we will evaluate based on the extent to which the project's main functions are supported by necessary entities, such as employers and training providers, and whether the roles of key partners are defined. Reviewers are asked if the project is supported by a diverse group of partners that will lead to program goals. They are also asked if the main functions of the project are supported by partner entities. Alignment with program goals asks if the project is likely to drive regional innovation by building STEM-capable talent, as well as EDA's other investment priorities. It also asks reviewers if the need for the project is clearly defined. Because equity is EDA's #1 investment priority, it is important that projects promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in STEM fields. So reviewers specifically score based on this. We also ask reviewers to look for a plan to engage an inclusive group of stakeholders and participants. For measurable goals and impacts, reviewers look at whether the solution is aligned with the opportunity and whether the base level project goals are SMART and are likely to further the innovation ecosystem of the region by building STEM talent. They are also asked if there are goals related both to participant success, such as job placement and program completion, and the impact on the innovation economy. For sustainability and adaptability, we look at the sustainability plan we talked about a few slides ago, and reviewers are asked if the project is likely to be able to sustain activities post-federal award. Does the project seem like it could be adapted as necessary to obtain future funding? Finally, reviewers take a deep look at the budget narrative and staffing plan, evaluating whether or not the organization seems to have the capacity and experience to execute the project. From the budget and staffing plan, reviewers are asked whether the application clearly identifies the financial, human, and programmatic resources that will support the successful execution of the project and whether the organization and this proposed team seem to have the capacity to execute it. Understanding these 6 criteria and making sure to include information that will help reviewers understand the details of your project can exponentially help as you prepare a competitive application. Because of our statutory requirement, a one-to-one funding match is required. Applicants must demonstrate at the time of application a matching non-federal share of at least 50% of the total project cost. This match can be made up of cash or in-kind contributions. However, all in-kind contributions must be directly related to the overall project costs and its outcomes. You must also include a valuation of any in-kind contributions in both your match commitment letters and budget narrative. At the time that the application is submitted, matching shares of any type must meet the following 3 thresholds. They must be committed to the project for the full period of performance, be available as needed, and not be conditioned or encumbered in any way that may preclude their use consistent with the requirements of EDA investment assistance. Applications should include signed commitment letters for all matching funds from all sources. These commitment letters should clearly state that the matching funds meet all of the 3 previously mentioned thresholds. These letters should also be signed by an authorized representative for the organization and should help show that your project is supported. If an applicant is a nonprofit organization, a non-public institution of higher education, a public-private partnership, a science or research park, a federal laboratory, or an economic development organization or similar entity, then they must also include a letter of resolution that show that the application is supported by one or more states, political subdivisions of a state, such as a county, or tribal organization. This letter or resolution should encompass all or a substantial portion of the region that would be served under the proposed project. Please note that support from federal officials does not meet this requirement. Examples of authorities that may indicate support include state and local executive branch officials, i.e., state governors, state cabinet members, mayors, or other municipal executives, state and local legislators, such as state legislators and city council person, or Native organizations. If the application is a state, Indian tribe, city, or other political subdivision of a state, this requirement does not apply. You will have to submit your overall budget, which you will use to complete the 424 and 424A forms, and a budget narrative. Budgets and budget narratives should be thought of holistically. That is, you should think of each item as it relates to your total budget, not just the match or the federal share. For example, if you're applying for $250,000 in STEM funds, you should be running at least a $500,000 initiative and budget. The budget documents should flow seamlessly with your application, and the costs in your budget should be easily traceable to program activities. To assist you in formulating your budget, we have included a budget template on the STEM Talent Challenge website. You will also want to ensure that all references to your budget in the application match, and that the amount of matching funds that you are listing in the budget is fully documented by commitment letters. To conclude this section, innovation and entrepreneurship rely on STEM-capable talent to advance. This challenge seeks to develop that talent, but leaves the how up to you. Experimentation is encouraged. Now that we've talked about the origins and design of this program, last year's competition, and how to apply, we will go over some frequently asked questions that we hope will assist you in this process. Can existing programs apply for this funding, or is it for new projects only? Projects may implement new or expand an existing STEM competency-based work and learn models. However, activities and outcomes should closely align with the goals of the STEM Talent Challenge. Iterative, innovative, and unproven models are highly encouraged to apply. Worth noting, current STEM Talent Challenge grantees are not eligible to apply for this year's funding. However, grantees of other OIE programs, such as Sprint or Build to Scale, are eligible to apply. The STEM Talent Challenge aims to build. How does the STEM Talent Challenge compare to the Good Jobs Challenge? The STEM Talent Challenge aims to build STEM talent training systems to strengthen regional innovations economies. The STEM Talent Challenge will help support burgeoning innovation-based economies by developing systems that will ready workers for future jobs. The maximum federal share of each STEM Talent Challenge award is $250,000, and EDA anticipates making approximately 8 awards. The Good Jobs Challenge, on the other hand, is designed to help Americans get back to work by investing in one, developing and strengthening regional workforce training systems that support sectoral partnerships, two, designing sectoral partnerships, and three, implementing sectoral partnerships that will lead to high quality jobs. The Good Jobs Challenge is designed to build and scale larger programs by supporting existing establishing employers and getting workers into jobs that are in demand now. For the Good Jobs Challenge, EDA has allocated $500 million. EDA anticipates making approximately 25 to 50 awards. For more information, see the STEM FAQ document as it relates to this question. Another question we've heard is this one. Should projects follow the standards of current industry recognized apprenticeships? Again, the answer to this question is no. Traditional apprenticeship standards can be followed by projects applying for this challenge, but this is not a requirement. This challenge does not have strict rules governing work and learn models, allowing applicants to be creative in their approach. As we have said throughout this presentation, innovation and experimentation are encouraged. We have also been asked if the STEM Talent Challenge is funded by the CARES Act or the American Rescue Plan, or if it is a response to the coronavirus pandemic. Again, the answer to this question is no. The STEM Talent Challenge is not funded by the CARES Act or the American Rescue Plan. It is authorized by Section 28 of Stevenson-Weidler, and it is funded through its own appropriation. That said, as we discussed earlier, the pandemic has accelerated the need for a workforce that is capable of succeeding in this virtual world, and one of the aims of this challenge is to fulfill that need. Worth noting, again, this program is separate from the Good Jobs Challenge, EDA's other current workforce funding opportunity under ARPA. Can this funding be used to directly support program participants, such as through apprentice wages or stipends? Yes. In contrast to last year, funds from this challenge can be used to pay wages, stipends, or other payments directly to the student or worker. I want to thank you for taking the time to learn more about the STEM Talent Challenge. We are truly excited about the opportunity of this challenge this year and of the lasting impacts that it will cause. We look forward to receiving your applications and hope that this webinar has provided more clarity in the process. Should you have any additional questions, please reach out via the email or visit the website for more resources. And again, the email is listed on this slide, oie@eda.gov, and the website is also listed and linked here, eda.gov/OIE/STEM. Thank you again, and please let us know if you have other questions.